When it comes down to it, protecting Patrick Mahomes is the number one priority for the Kansas City Chiefs. And with the preseason game two finishing up over the weekend, we got to look at forgotten draft pick Lucas Niang as your right tackle with Jawan Taylor injured. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about the offensive line, what they can do with this young group overall, how the backups are going to mesh out, what are we going to be able to see if things don't go great with the offensive line's health, along with some young up and coming rookies on the defensive side of the football that have a legitimate shot to not only make this roster, but to make noise in this defense. We've got Jaden Hicks and Chris Roland Wallace. If you guys watched the video last week, you know that I have highlighted him. I think he is a legitimate prospect for not just making the roster, but again, making some noise on this team. Welcome into RGR Football, everybody. My name is Daniel Harms, senior film analyst here. And like I said, we are getting in and talking about offensive line and some defensive backs today. So if you guys are new to the channel, hit that sub button right now. Follow along as we journey through not just the preseason, but the entire Chiefs season, breaking down film and getting through all the way to where the Chiefs try to get that ever elusive three-peat, something that has never been done. So before all of that, all I want to say is everything that we do here is for you guys. We can't be the way we are here at RGR without you. So learning, growing, we're all trying to do it together. Let's jump into the tape, right? And see what we've got on tab. First of all, let's just get a little hype, right? Let's get a little bit hype because Xavier Worthy is going to be so much fun in this offense and where we get to see him be a real tool for Patrick Mahomes and this type of deep passing game is on display right here. We get a little bit of confusion with the motion from the Chiefs going from right to left with Worthy. Nice little intention inside. Make those DBs and safeties think he's going over the middle of the field. Instead, he goes all the way down the field. So all in all, Patrick Mahomes is going to have a lot of fun with this player and the way they can use Xavier Worthy. But we're going to take a little bit of a microscope into the offensive line. Like I said, Jawan Taylor was missing this football game, so you didn't get to see him play at all. We do know the Chiefs have lined up starting a left tackle that's a rookie in Kingsley Suamataia. We're going to talk a little bit about him today as well. But Lucas Niang, with not just Jawan Taylor injured, but Wanya Morris injured, has an interesting opportunity right now to become kind of a linchpin in the Chiefs offensive line. He could play interior a little bit, but right now he has slotted as your backup right tackle, and this isn't his problem, right? He is getting help on the outside by tight end. Patrick's 10 yards behind the line of scrimmage, so he's trying to do his best to get out there. So we're not going to take too much away from that on that specific play. But what he's been able to do, I think, in this game, showcase a little bit more, yes, against the Lions backup players. But at the end of the day, it's about what you have in the tank and what you can actually accomplish. So right here, you're going to see him get into his little vertical drop step here. Boom, goes vertical. He takes a little bit of an out wide step. In my opinion, he's trying to force that defensive end to give him a tell, give him something, attack maybe. So we get that drop step vertical. He comes back, out, and in. So he sees that. He's able to get his feet back under him. And then he sees the defensive end try to get down, right? So we've got a little bit almost 100% upright from Lucas Niang. You want to see him maybe a little bit set, a little bit under him so we can better generate a little bit of anchor and take on the power coming from the defensive end. But at the end of the day, he used that outside jab step to bait the defensive end to coming inside. And then he takes on, extends his hands, keeps him off of him, and then he's rotating. You see, he's doing a good job there, staying with him, hands in, he's moving to the inside, working with what he has. And I think that even for a guy his size, who is as athletic he is for a bigger offensive lineman, he does have some tools to this trade to be able to be a linchpin, a backup, swing tackle, whatever you want to call him there. But look at the interior right here. Look at Carson Steele. Look at all this stuff, guys. Like, I think Trey Smith is playing well, like a man possessed personally right now, especially in the preseason. And we'll see how he plays the rest of the year, but he is playing very good football. Yeah, Carson Steele gets kind of picked up here and moved, but this is the pocket. This is perfect pocket. And Carson Wentz knows he's going to throw a touchdown here to the fastest man in the NFL. we'll just save Tyreek Hill's name for later because we all know that Tyreek Hill is the legitimate fastest man in game speed in the NFL, 40 times a side. But watch again, this is the hand usage. So he comes inside, he's waiting for that defensive end to now again power his way through. You get that extension from Lucas Niang right here with a little bit of pop, right? So he bends his knees, he gets his anchor under him. His feet are kind of come under here, and usually you get that little bit of a hop step to be able to re-anchor and get absorb that power from the defensive end. So he does a good job here of pushing off, but keeping his feet under him and not overextending and not getting all that lunge position where you can then lose to the outside or lose to the inside with an easy, quick move. So nice job there, hand fighting, relocating his hands in that movement. So I think that he did a very good job in this football game. He wasn't perfect by any stretch, but it was his first time playing with the first team offense in the preseason. So you're gonna play against a little bit better competition than he's used to seeing, and right here is where the re-anchor comes in. We just talked a little bit about how you can re-anchor, and Patrick Mahomes is going to be wanting to be protected as much as he can, considering how I think how much the Chiefs over the past couple of years have from the tackle position really lacked some actual arc defense. So being able to generate a lot more anchor and take on some power, which I think is Jawan Taylor's weakness to this point in his career, it is a benefit to Lucas Niang, who is a much bigger player to get through. So right here, you're going to see, again, he's going to open his shoulders a little bit too much for my liking, but we've got a little bit of a vertical step back out, and then he kind of opens his hips and his shoulders to the defensive end. And so you got one hand out here, one hand down. Typically, you want to see hands up and ready. I want to see a little bit better hand carried so they can react quicker to where the defensive end is going. But right there, left hand out first, feels the defensive end wanting to get to his chest, and then he gets that other arm out there. Again, you'd want to see better hand location. That's why I think hand carriage is important, because if you can get your hands inside and then when you feel that pressure coming, it's not always going to be to the outside. It's going to be relocating that right hand underneath and maybe using that to push him back inside. So instead of we see, the outside arm here on the shoulder pads on the arm, it's underneath, and you might be able to push this defender this way. It gives you a much better leverage point to then use that core strength, that muscles, all those muscles to be able to use that torque, be able to turn him inside. But here he gets power to the inside, and then he just re-anchors, puts his feet down, get that 2-hop step. That's what you want to see. If you see a tackle that's about to face speed to power or a bull rush, whatever it is, you want a little bit of a 2-step hop. So right there at the end, it was very, very, very brief. But again, both feet kind of come off the ground a little bit, and then they reset. What that does is it redistributes the power that you're getting, and it gives you that effort, that oomph, really, that extra oomph to kind of re-put yourself back up. So he's not overextending. I think he's doing a good job of keeping his feet under him and reabsorbing that power. So he gives Patrick Mahomes enough time here to throw that football downfield. Now, obviously, Xavier Woods was not open, but he's trying to force the football to him on purpose. That's all by design in this football game to get it to Xavier Woods. So now we got 12 personnel right here, and 2 tight ends to the left-hand side. And the Chiefs are going to be getting Justin Watson on the right-hand side of the offense on a comeback route. But Lucas Niang here does, again, more of a kind of a weight set. You don't really necessarily want him just be waiting, but at the end of the day, he's facing a player towards his inside that's coming out to him. So really nice play here out of 12 personnel, which we've talked about. Chiefs love to pass out of 12 personnel and 13 personnel, especially because they feel like their player personnel and their wide receivers and tight ends match up better against base defenses in the NFL, and they're not wrong about that. So you have the interior, more of a 4-eye position from your defensive end who's going to be running around right here. Hand location, we talked a little bit about that earlier. Getting his hands outside, you really want to see him relocate this underneath here, but doing a decent job of getting enough of a turn. He's not overturning his hips. He's keeping that defensive end in front of him, that pass rusher with him, and he's keeping his hands engaged. Now, one of those things that we are going to want to see more of, we talked about hand location, hand carriage, relocating is just as important, because at the end, you're going to see him get pushed off. So the left hand does come off and it comes underneath, but you want to get his right hand out. Stop holding it up underneath and relocate, because then you're able to move with him. So defensive end's rushing uphill, or excuse me, upfield here. Where does that leave a gigantic gap here? So he can kind of push you off if you're not relocating your hands. It makes it tougher to get back, because now with that inside right there, you see where his shoulders are now turned this way. You get a little bit of a kind of a push through from that defensive end, and now you've got shoulders turned this way, and the defensive end can come back this way. But the ball's already out, so it's a moot point. We're just talking about technique here from Lucas Niang. So he gave more than enough time for Patrick Mahomes to get the ball out to Justin Watson for a big play there. But we just want to see a little bit more of a technique cleanup with his hands. I think that's one of the bigger things with Niang, is that he's always been a pretty good athlete for his size. He had pretty good anchor, but his hand usage needs to get better. And that'll come with time. And hopefully, unfortunately, he is still young, but he's had multiple injuries, hasn't been able to get on the field long enough to sustain any kind of improvement. And I want to compare both of the players at tackle right here. So Lucas Niang is going to get beat around the edge for a pressure on Patrick Mahomes, but I want you to watch both of these players individually. So Lucas Niang gets beat right there. Now let's go back and watch Kingsley Suamataia. I want to see if you guys can tell the differences in these two players and why one got beat and the other didn't. Right here at this point, I would say Niang's in a better position than Kingsley is. So if we're looking at just these defensive ends, all right, so you got hands here. His head is about, I would say, even with Niang's, but this defensive end's got an outside track to the quarterback here. There's one specifically important thing that Kingsley is going to do that Lucas Niang is not going to do. And I want you to watch Lucas's right foot here. It doesn't move. It gets stuck in the ground, and he's then moving outside. That defensive end gains the edge by being able to get around him without moving your feet. Now watch Kingsley's foot. His feet are always moving. He keeps his feet moving out to the left-hand side there and stays with the defensive end. So while he got initially, he was given the edge right there to the defensive end, moves his feet. If you move your feet, you'll be able to move your hands. All that stuff plays a part in protecting the edge. And if you can give up the edge once, you'll give it up again. Cross chop here from the defensive end gets Lucas Niang not moving his foot, and he gets beat. So again, all in all, it wasn't a perfect day for Lucas Niang, but I think what we want to see from him is sustained pressure to get better. And I think that giving him playing time yesterday or on Saturday was very, very important. And hopefully, as someone who might be the only backup you have at tackle for a little bit, which is a little worrisome, can give you a little bit something. So here we already see it's 3rd and 7. We're moving now to the defensive side of the field. But before we do that, I want to give our friends at Autograph a quick shout out, because not only can you guys earn rewards from watching and consuming all the content you already do, but it's super quick and super easy. Let's hear what they have to say.
I want to tell you a little bit about our newest sponsor, Autograph. It's the greatest concept. It's a free app that curates all the best content for your Chiefs in one spot. And it lets you earn rewards for interacting with the content that you already want to watch. So check out Autograph. It's a free app download. You can get it at the link down below, or use our code RGR when you do. And that helps us help you get the rewards that you deserve from Autograph.
So yeah, just go check them out. It's very easy. Use the code RGR, sign up at Autograph, and get rewards for stuff you're already doing. It's so easy, and we all should be doing that with the content that we consume. So back over now to the defensive side of the football, where there's two players that I'm going to talk about, but I'm going to really focus on one player, and it's Jaden Hicks. I have been talking about Jaden Hicks since he was drafted, even before he was drafted, because he was a top 50 player on my board, one of the best safeties out there that were available. He's so versatile. He's useful. He can do so many things for your defense. And right here, the Chiefs come out in dime personnel against a spread offensive formation. You're going to see Jaden Hicks reduce inside with the motion against the tight end, really more of a big nickel. What that means is typically you have your slot receivers and your slot cornerbacks, right? But you always refer to them as nickels. A guy like Mike Sainristil out of Michigan is a nickel defender. He's not going to really man up against tight ends. This is where Jaden Hicks is going to man up against tight ends. Justin Reed does that as well. So here you've got him lined up in the reduced split now, and he's going to be blitzing. this is where you want blitz to kind of, get home, right? You always want the blitz to get home, and they're dropping FAU into coverage, which is not his forte. They're defensive ends, but what I want to focus on is the way that he's pass rushing. Okay, so watch watch Jaden Hicks as he gets upfield and he's able to stop his momentum and generate back inside. Excuse me, hand usage as well. So he knows that tackle is opening his shoulders. So he's already a pretty high level pass rusher for a defensive back. Right here, again, leaning in and then realizing he's going upfield because I'm fast. I can stop, get back inside. Like, this is just really high level pass rush stuff, threatening the arc, coming back to the inside, things that you want your defensive ends to do. And, I think if Felix would have been able to move just a little bit this way, it's not his fault. He's watching the eyes of the quarterback who's looking here, but knows he's going to be throwing here. So that's not something I put on him specifically. I think that he would have been able to prevent this from happening and get Jaden Hicks a sack. But at the end of the day, you want to see that pass rush upside from one of your big nickel corners. We know Spags loves to blitz these guys, and he's already showing a pass rush acumen that you don't really see in rookies, specifically in rookie safeties. And the versatility that we've already kind of talked about is that he's getting already better as a two high safety. He did play a little bit of single high in this football game, but obviously he wasn't really targeted or thrown the ball. But the play recognition, the understanding that you have a flat route here and he triggers downhill immediately, that click and close is put on display. And he's not the best. I won't say he's not the best tackler in space, but right now, this play right here shows you that he tried to wrap up. He went low, knowing he has to go a bit lower to get a bigger tight end on the ground. It's just a really nice play in space because, again, he's at the sideline there, but he's able to trigger downhill and make that happen. So you see eyes here, and then eyes quickly go towards the outside. So he's looking right here. He understands that his responsibility is the flat where it will be attacked. I think the quarterback also knew that the flat would be open based on the coverage and that the Chiefs like to bring a little bit of pressure. So it's up to him to make that tackle. It's a very good job understanding that if you can even just move him off that spot a little bit to the outside, you're probably going to get him out of bounds. So really nice job to click close, recognize your coverage and be able to be in that spot and force the third down. So here, again, we're going to see Jaden Hicks as your too high, showing too high, but they will rotate out here and he's coming down. So against the run, this is a really nice job from the Chiefs defense up front to give him an absolute lane. By the way, I'm not entirely sure whose this was, but someone's face mask just popped off in this play, and I feel a little bad for it because, Brian Cook goes over there, like, hey, someone lost themselves a visor there. So, but back to this point, these two players here, Mike Pennell, I would deserve a shout out, and Malik Herring, who's been a very good run defender for the Chiefs as your defensive end here. They do an excellent job of opening up this B gap. So as the offense is trying, they want to block out here and kind of wash out. So they're trying to reach block everyone this way to open up the B gap to give someone a spot. So watch Mike Pennell, who has, again, been rejuvenated. We've talked about it a lot on the RGR channel. We've been rejuvenated, but right here, he's going to push number 62 out of the way and look at Jaden Hicks come on down and be involved in the run game. He is not afraid and never will be afraid of coming in, getting his hands dirty, putting his face to the fire, being a legitimate run defender. So the reason I want to shout out Malik Herring is because he forces the running back to have to come meet Jaden Hicks in the hole. That's what you're supposed to do, setting a hard edge, flashing to the outside, showing this running back that, look, you want to come out here, I'm going to make you have to go around all the way and beat me with speed, which you don't have enough room to do, or you have to go meet the guy in the hole. And that's exactly what you want to do. Say, my players are better than your players one-on-one. And again, Mike Pennell also helping with the tackle there. Jaden Hicks, incredibly valuable for this defense. That's what you need from a versatile player that can play big nickel for you, play a little bit of single high, rotate down, be a robber as your two high safety as well. I think that what we are going to see for him as his role grows is that while he can play a little bit of dime backer, which we've seen already to this point, it is still a position he's going to have to grow into in the NFL. So responsibility wise, as this hook defender here on the outside, this receiver is going up the field. All right. there's no one else. There's one running back releasing out towards you, and there's nobody else here. So as that hook defender here, he needs to be a little bit quicker identifying this running back coming out of the backfield and triggering. He gets a little bit too far in his depth, doesn't trigger immediately, and then he misses the tackle coming downhill. So all in all, I think he's going to get better in that role, understanding where he needs to be, where all that drop back is, understanding, okay, the receiver's out wide. Really quickly, I look over there and see where he's going, and then try to find out where he's going to be. So we saw him in 4 different positions in that game where he played single high, he played 2 high, he played in big nickel, and then he played at dime backer. So already Spags is trying to figure out what he does best. He's going to be a hugely important, vital piece to the Chiefs defense as this season gets long and into the future, because when you draft someone like that in the 4th round who you don't expect to be there, it changes how you can fit, not just spend money on the defensive side, how you can adapt your defense, which we know Spags loves to do. And just really quickly, once again, this play from Chris Roland Wallace, who I do believe at this point makes the roster. I think he's the 2nd best nickel on the team next to Trent McDuffie. I think it's Trent McDuffie, and right now I think he's right there because of what he's able to do. I've said it before, I'll say it again. If you guys missed the video last week, I was telling y'all to watch this player, and this is why I think he's going to make the roster. He's listed as a safety. The Chiefs love to take typically 10 defensive backs. And what we're seeing out of the first 5 DBs, or excuse me, first 5 cornerbacks, with Chamari Connor listed as a cornerback, it opens up a roster spot for Chris Roland Wallace, excuse me. Here in the slot, in the nickel, he's got inside leverage, right? So you want to beat me, you're going to have to go outside. You're not going to beat me across my face. I have that. I have the quick twitch ability. I have the physicality to run with you. So here, nice job. Again, turning his hips, running with that receiver, hands on him there, and then he's able to react. So the deceleration part's always important to be able to stay with these quicker players in the NFL. And I think CRW has all of that. So right there, he sees that he's trying to get in the middle of the field and stop one of those spot routes almost. You're coming over the middle of the field, stopping at a spot, and tries to decelerate right there, get a first down. And I'm going to hold a little bit, be a little bit grabby, be a little sticky, stay in your hip pocket, and I'm going to get a PBW off of it. So what I'm really loving seeing from this player is that he plays the game the right way. He's unafraid to contribute in the run game. He's physical, sticky, he's got speed, and he can do multiple things for your defense. Not only did he play in the nickel, he played 2 high safeties. So we saw that from Chamari Connor last year, somebody who was a slot defender, safety at Virginia Tech, and then grew to be that big nickel for the Chiefs when they needed him down the stretch. And after that second half of the season, really flourished as a player. That is something we could see, especially if the Chiefs maybe don't want to have Jalen Watson and Josh Williams on the field at the exact same time. Just saying, it's possible we see Chris Roland Wallace make this roster and contribute as a slot defender, because he has all of the tools that the Chiefs really value in not just their slot defenders, but their personnel on defense. He's got legitimate mental makeup to play in this defense and be physical and not care about defending against the run. And that's huge for nickel defenders. They have to be able to be willing to put their nose in the fire and get after it, because teams will want to run when you're in nickel or dime, and he can help this defense. So just really wanted to showcase a couple of players that I think are not only going to be important for the longevity of the 2024 NFL season in Jaden Hicks and possibly Lucas Niang, given the injuries already with Wanya Morris and Juwan Taylor. We don't know what's going to happen there, but getting one more play of Chris Roland Wallace is really going to be impactful, because I think he's going to play well again in preseason game 3 and solidify himself on this roster. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And again, if you guys are new to the channel and you're just seeing us for the first time, you're seeing film, you like to learn all that stuff, please sub to the channel, hit that like button for us, please. We do appreciate all of the support that you guys consistently give us, and liking the video is one way that you can do that. We will have a post game for you after the Thursday night preseason game, and we're going to continue to build all the way to the season. It's almost here. We're going to have real NFL in a few short weeks, so bear with us, guys. I know we're almost there. Y'all can do it. Hope you have a fantastic rest of your day.